Hello folks, since we're kind of wrapping up the end of the drafting and peer review process for the researched argument essay, and y'all should be pretty close to or at the required minimum word count for that essay, 2,000 words. I want to go ahead and talk to y'all a little bit about revision, editing, and proofreading, since that's kind of where you should be working on with your paper right now. I'm going to start with a few definitions. As always, don't worry about taking notes on this. There is going to be my full notes online for you on Moodle. Just so we know kind of what we're talking about. Revision is the adding, removing, relocating, or changing of information and ideas in a paper in order to improve the overall argument or analysis. Editing is looking back at your writing on a paragraph, sentence, or word-specific level to make sure that your ideas or your argument or whatever are coming through clearly. And then proofreading is making mostly quick corrections to grammar, punctuation, and formatting. So, the paper you turn in for the final paper shouldn't be exactly the same as the draft you just turned in for draft number 2. And now that you've had some time between finishing that draft and working on the revision, editing, and proofreading, you should be able to come at it with fresh eyes. Generally, in this writing process, you're going to want at least to allow a day or a night's sleep between the drafting, the writing of the paper, and the revision process. I understand that that's not always possible. I'm a write all night kind of person myself, but I do recommend taking at least some kind of break before you look back at your own writing, even if you are pulling an all-nighter. The distance will allow you to see errors that otherwise your brain is just going to overlook, because you already know what you're trying to say, right? So, for this paper, since we have plenty of time for this revision, editing, proofreading process, right, I really want us to be thinking about it. So, starting with your peer review feedback, but also on your own, you should begin this process of honing your paper. Usually you're going to want to make bigger revision type changes first, and then go back and do editing and proofreading stuff, because, minor errors often come up when you go back and make bigger changes. If you cut and paste a paragraph here or there, you want to make sure that you're catching any formatting weirdness or typos. When revising, first consider your thesis. Is it making an argumentative claim, and is it clear what that claim is? As you read through your paper, ask yourself if the evidence you're presenting actually supports the argument you're making. Do things need to be moved around, strengthen your points? Do you have really strong points in your conclusion that need to be introduced earlier and integrated into the paper? And is it clear, why this argument matters, why your stance in this argument matters? So, after you've looked at your larger scale revisions, you can get into the editing stage. And here it can be helpful to have a friend or a classmate read over your paper to mark places where they get confused or where your ideas aren't coming through clearly. I've also found that for me, reading my paper aloud or hearing it read aloud, either by a helpful friend or via software, such as Microsoft Word or Google Translate, is the most helpful thing for me during the editing stage. So you want to be thinking about, does each body paragraph have a topic sentence that connects back to the argument in your thesis statement? And is that sentence the first sentence in the paragraph? Have you provided analysis for the quotes and data you've cited in each paragraph? Does the order of the sentences in each paragraph make sense? And do you feel that the word choice articulates what exactly you're trying to say? That kind of thing. So proofreading is the final step. Once all your big changes are made in revision and editing, you'll move on to the proofreading stage. And at its most basic, proofreading can pretty much just be running a paper through a spelling and grammar checking software, making sure that you don't have any colored squiggles under anything in Microsoft Word, and then making sure that the paper meets MLA formatting and citation guidelines. So, like, looking through your paper, you got any of those squiggly lines? Any obviously kind of misplaced formatting stuff? Things that should be right aligned or centered, that kind of quick moving stuff around. Is the paper double spaced in Times New Roman in a 12-point font? Do you have a works cited page? And have you double checked those citations? Is your last name the page number in the header of the top right of every page? And have you saved the paper as a Word doc with your last name and the file name? These are kind of proofreading, final polishing things, right? So, I've deliberately scheduled y'all plenty of time between having draft 2 done with all 2,000 words of the minimum count for the researched argument essay. So even if you don't do each step here individually, revision, editing, proofreading, I do encourage you to go back through your papers this week and next week and do what you can to revise, edit, and proofread them. I'm not expecting perfection, of course. It's a cliche for a reason in the English department to say that there are never any perfect papers, only deadlines. So don't feel like y'all have to spend hours and hours tweaking everything and striving for perfection with this paper. I do trust y'all to judge your time wisely. I know you have other things going on, so I trust y'all to make your researched argument essay the best it can be with the time that you have to allocate to it. So, remember, that final researched argument essay is due at 11:59 p.m. on Friday, April 16th, which is the Friday before Dead Week, the last week of classes. I'm holding optional conferences / makeup conferences this Friday and Monday. That's the 9th and the 12th. See the sign-up sheet on Moodle if you're interested. And know that if you've already met with me twice this semester, you don't need to make up any conference points. So if that's the case, these meetings are optional. They're only required for people who need to make up points. But you're welcome to stop by and chat if you make an appointment, or email me if you have any specific questions or concerns you'd like to discuss about Projects 2 or 3. And do remember Project 3, the video presentation is going to be due that Friday, April 23rd. And the final deadline for all late work in the course, everything, is April 30th at 11:59 p.m. That is because I have to have time to get everything graded and turned into the university by 9 a.m. on May 4th. So, yeah, if y'all have any questions or concerns, please shoot me an email. Otherwise, I hope you're having a good week. Take care. Bye.